Today we will be reviewing Signal Moon by Kate Quinn.
I'm waiting for something. There's going to be something, right? Was that the end? Was that the intro?
It's a very short story. That was
That was it. We're done.
That was the short story.
Let's go home. Once again, I want to remind you guys that we are giving away free books. You have a chance of winning every month. If you go and apply, we will give you those details later on.
This month we will be reviewing Signal Moon by Kate Quinn. Yorkshire, 1943. Wren Petty Officer Lily Baines, a bright young debutante increasingly ground down by an endless war, has traded her white gloves for a set of headphones. It's her job to interpret Navy communications and send them to Bletchley Park for decryption. One night, she picks up a transmission that isn't code at all. It's a cry for help. An American ship taking heavy fire in the North Atlantic, but no one else has reported an attack. And the information relayed by the young officer, Matt Jackson, seems all wrong. The contact that Lily has made at the other end of the radio channel says it's 2023. Across an 80-year gap, Lily and Matt must find a way to help each other. Matt to convince her that the war she's fighting can still be won, and Lily to help him stave off the war to come. As their connection grows stronger, they both know there's no telling when time will run out on their inexplicable link. This is a short story, about 75 pages or an hour and 22 minutes in audio form. The short story is currently ranking as number 2 in science fiction under Amazon's Kindle store.
Okay, so here's what to expect from the book itself. Nothing really stands out except for, well, the language. So that's the content to expect. As far as your just real quick general impression of this book, John, what was your thoughts?
I'd give it about a 2 out of 5 or 4 out of 10. And the reason for that was, even though the historical part was enjoyable, there was issues with profanity. It seemed like it took center stage. We got a plot hole going on and possibly some borrowed script. So get more into that if we do spoilers. Are we going to do spoilers?
Yes, well, since how long this book is, well, how short it is, we really can't do a real good personal impression without going into spoilers. So just real quick, spoiler-free impression. I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, as far as the language was high, there's a lot of that going on. For me, I don't enjoy short stories that really feel short. And this one definitely felt that way. So let's go ahead and dive into the personal impressions. This will have spoilers in it. We'll be talking about the book itself. Let me go ahead and turn it on over to John to kick this off.
So on the historical side, I really liked it. There was perhaps the most interesting part was the story of her perspective in her job as a radio operator and being a part of the codebreaker team. I thought that was pretty cool. I had researched that part of history. I knew that was going on. I don't know how accurate it is, but it sounded like it was pretty good. But there were 3 things on the downside that maybe made me give this a lower rating. One was profanity, the second plot hole, and then we had some borrowed script. So profanity seemed to take a center stage. Yes, sailors are known for their language, drinking, partying at port, but Matt seemed to make it his goal to get the pearl-clutching lady of yesteryear to drop an F-bomb. Even Lily took the Lord's name in vain, something a debutante of that era would be ashamed of. With the plot hole, at the beginning of the story, Lily hears the American signal technician identify himself with his rank and call sign. She's also heard him joking about the beds being too short in the Grand Hotel. In a following scene, though, Lily ships Matt one of her 1940s era radios to room 202 in the Grand Hotel under the name Matt Jackson on March 9th, 2023. But she did not know his name or his room number, the date he was at the hotel. Since receiving the radio allows them to communicate with each other, and this is a critical plot point, she did not have this information earlier. Moreover, neither of them should have been able to get away with transmitting to each other in the clear, because this was during wartime for her and a possible wartime for him. This stretches credibility to the breaking point. Yeah, she snuck in time to talk with him, but come on, sending him a government-issued radio set for encryption? No, I don't think so. And finally, it seemed too much that this was borrowed script. Taken from two different things. The first was taken from the movie Frequency that came out in the year 2000, and then later 2016 TV series named Frequency. Both of these adaptations, a person from the present is somehow able to talk to someone in the past over a radio and prevent the death of the person from the past. The other thing that it kind of borrowed from, but I don't know, this is, kind of shrug your shoulders on this, it's not that big of a deal, was Back to the Future 2, when Marty McFly gets a message from Doc in the past. And the big thing was the guy who delivers the message says, I can't believe it, everybody in the office was talking about this. I lost my bet or something. And then this is the same thing that happens here. It's a cool scene, but come on, it's borrowed.
There are definitely a lot of stretches as far as being able to communicate in the clear. I mean, they literally are right next to a bunch of code crackers right there. Granted, they're listening for German communication, not so much the Allied communication. But still, really, if these were restricted and you weren't allowed to be transmitting, which they were very clear that you were supposed to have turned over all of these transmitters, not the receivers, you could have the receivers, you just couldn't have the transmitters, then I would have expected someone to be a little bit more aware of it. Granted, again, there weren't that many times that this occurred. They seem to be able to solve this problem pretty swiftly within a day or so. I think it would have definitely benefited from being much longer of a book. I think they would have had a lot more substance in there. And I would have been very much more interested and probably would have given it even another little bit of a higher rating because of that. And that might have fixed some of the massive issues that she fell into. So like I hinted to at the beginning of this, we are still giving away copies. If you want a chance to enter to win a free copy of one of the books that we have reviewed, you get to select which one. You need to like, subscribe. You need to go down to the description where you'll find a link to John's website, and that will allow you to select which book you would like to get a free copy of. And then you just subscribe to the newsletter, and that will let us know who to pick from every month. And as to the next book that we will be reviewing, John, what is that?
Next month, we will be reviewing The Girl Who Looked Beyond the Stars by L.B.M.
That is another short story, but we will be opening up to the entire series, if it's good enough, to do a dive into it. Now, another change is that we will be moving this review next month to the last Saturday of the month. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you at the end of next month for our next review.